Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Baddest Cast, episode 4. Today, we're going to talk about console wars.
The applause light wasn't even on.
So, as usual, there's myself, Sjotyme, checking in. We have also...
Mediocre Dude and a special guest.
Seando, baby! I am back, and I am ready to be running this show!
So, when you guys' ears are done bleeding, we'll go ahead and get started. But Seando has expressed interest in wanting to be a part of a podcast with us, and he wanted to do console wars. So, I mean, for the most part, we're talking about Xbox and PlayStation, but we'll start off with that. We can even trail off into Sega and Nintendo era, maybe even.
Ooh, throw it old school. I like it.
I mean, it's console wars. So
let's go with it.
So with that said, that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on today. So Baddest Cast, episode 4. Now, first off, right, what's better, PlayStation or Xbox? That's the first question that needs to be addressed here. I personally have grown up... I like PlayStation over Xbox. I don't know if it's because I'm biased that I've never really owned an Xbox other than my brother having one at one point, and I just played his original Xbox and Halo, which is really fun, but I've never been into the Xbox scene. I've always been a PlayStation guy because I feel it's the superior system as far as like hardware goes, and it's just more powerful. So, and I like the games. It's like Japanese. It's like between choosing like a Japanese car or an American car type deal. So that's kind of like my initial input to the conversation.
So, my brother also has always been an Xbox guy, and I've always been PlayStation. And I think if I had to figure out like any reason that I like PlayStation better, it's the controller and the UI.
Okay, I would agree with the controller. I do like the PlayStation controller a lot. UI as in what?
The user interface.
User interface. Okay. See, I can't even compare it because I've never owned an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One, so I don't even know what it looks like.
I like the big.
Or I've seen it like once or twice, but it's like not like doesn't stick.
Like
in my
big
head.
blocky icons on the screen, and you like move them over and stuff.
Yeah.
It just looks really bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But obviously, like some of the exclusives are going to be what's going to differentiate them and what's going to draw you into them.
Oh yeah, easily.
And I think that for the Xbox 360 generation, Xbox Live kicked ass compared to PlayStation Network for a few years. I think it really hit the ground running and established itself, and that's how Xbox 360 initially got its lead in the market.
Well, I think also at the same time, the game choices that they had for just Xbox itself were better at the time than PlayStation.
That's
I think that's why it dominated the live version.
Like Halo and Gears of War were kicking ass.
I mean, those are the big ones for Xbox. And they dominated PlayStation because of that, because it was for Xbox only, where PlayStation didn't have as much with that, and then PlayStation started adapting a lot of the Xbox games over, and that's when it flipped fast, and it flipped hard.
Yeah.
Right. But, like, Xbox Live was just so much stronger that a lot of the cross-platform games were played on Xbox for a time. And then, over time, perhaps that shifted a little bit.
I will have to chime in and say, yeah, Xbox 360 had a much stronger... between PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, the 360 definitely won that console war. There's just a lot more people on board with that. PlayStation 3 came out like $600.
Yeah, I remember that. It was overpriced.
When it first happened.
That was terrible.
I don't know if it was the PlayStation or not. You can leave in the comments just to correct me, but I think PlayStation came out first.
Xbox came out.
Okay.
Xbox came out first.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember.
And then that's when
maybe I'm thinking Sega.
That's when PS2 fell apart, because they were like, oh crap, Xbox 360 is starting to kick butt. Now we have to come up with a system fast. And that's when they overpriced it.
Right. Like, yeah, Xbox 360 was just thriving. I had Halo, Gears of War, other games too. I know that like Sega adopted Xbox, I believe. Or Xbox adopted Sega, like games and all that, from what I remember. Like,
I think
they took some Dreamcast games and put it on Xbox, from what I remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
Like, trying to recall all this, like, on the spot, but...
yeah.
Sega was very much represented on Wii for a little while. And then after
That's
that,
true.
I think it's pretty much cross-platform at this point.
All right, so from your guys' original experience, it sounds like your brothers were the ones who had Xbox.
Yeah.
I,
That's
on
true.
the other hand, had
Seando was the Xbox guy.
I had Xbox 360.
You're the enemy. Get him.
So it's
Get
actually,
him.
so
Well,
actually
alright.
this actually works because Mediocre Dude and I are both PlayStation guys, and you're the only Xbox guy that I know.
Well, no. Okay,
So this actually could work. This
when
works.
and I remember this because me and you, Showtime, used to have conversations about which one's better, Xbox compared to PlayStation, and for the longest time, I always said Xbox because the games I loved were on Xbox only,
Right.
And the games that I could also play that you would play for PS, I could also play on Xbox. So for the longest time, and I was it. First game I ever got was Gears of War for Xbox 360.
Right. And I watched you play the shit out of it.
Oh, dude, that game was awesome.
You were my Xbox friend.
Yeah, no, I would play, but I would never do it live because it cost money, so I wouldn't do it. that was the only thing.
That's
I mean, I was a
true,
high
yeah.
school kid.
But back then you didn't even really need to do Xbox Live that much.
No.
Back in those days.
I mean, I'm in high school.
Well,
Why?
the multiplayer was huge. That was a huge draw.
Well, but the thing is, you had to be into it, and I know Seando wasn't into that.
I
stuff.
still am not a big multiplayer guy.
yeah.
I just started playing Battlefield 1. I like it, but I've just never been that multiplayer style. I've played multiplayer and I just get bored fast.
I think a lot of PlayStation franchises are more single player, and a lot of Microsoft franchises are more
Co-op,
yeah,
online,
yeah, competitive generally.
So we're going off for the 360 to PS. When I first got Xbox, I hated PS. I thought it was stupid. I just didn't get that.
Yeah.
And I was all about Xbox only. The controllers, I liked the controller better because it was easier to hit the controllers. PlayStation was just too small.
It was
I was
an
like,
all-
screw that. It was because it's huge. It's wider.
It was an all.
Bigger hands.
Yeah, I got big hands. What can I say?
It was an all-out
Um,
war. It was an all-out war like Sega and Nintendo.
It was, and it was.
not like it's not as crazy as it used to be now because like basically both consoles are like computers.
Well, now that
The only difference is
now
just,
they're
like,
both
they're
like
exclusives.
we've already established ourselves. We either got Xbox fans or we got PlayStation fans. That's what they got. But at first, it was two new systems kind of battling each other for quality. Who gets what game? And
Yeah, kind of because actually the fight started in PS2 and Xbox.
yeah, and
That
actually,
was because that was when Xbox originally launched.
another fun fact.
And it was Halo that took.
I
the
own
cake.
both of those too.
Yeah.
So I own I think a total of 12 to 15 systems. When I was younger,
Not that much, guys.
no, not that much. So when I was younger, my dad, some guy randomly says, "Do you want these? You know, I have video games. Do you want them? I don't. You know, they're defective, quote unquote." So he gave my dad 2 huge boxes full of games,
Yep.
and
We told this story on the last.
oh, did you? All right, well, I didn't hear that one.
I brought it up.
Okay,
on the podcast.
so
Yeah,
and what's
about
funny?
the best
What's
thing.
funny about that is, Showtime got a bunch of video games for Christmas, even if they were the crappiest games ever, because we had 10 of the same copy. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna sell the rest of them. I'll give him one, and he actually ended up selling probably most of them that I handed.
And that's
him.
what I said on the show. And I'm like, don't worry, guys. Shondo already knows about it. So
Yeah.
It's something he doesn't know.
No, I actually think it's kind of funny, but my one
One of my biggest gaming regrets.
my one regret I have is I sold Link, the Nintendo game.
The Link?
Link.
Adventures of Link.
No, Final Fantasy. I got rid of Final Fantasy because I got like $15 for it at the time, which was a lot of money back then. But
Alright, so let's tie this into the console wars.
um,
'Cause we're getting off topic.
Real in.
that's right, baby. I'm coming back. No, okay, so Xbox and PlayStation. When I first owned it, I loved Xbox. It was only Xbox, this and that. Then my brother bought PS3.
Yeah.
So then I started trying to play a little bit on PS3, but it's still at the time I liked Xbox. And your big argument was when we talked about it was the fact of that Xbox you had to pay to go online.
Yes.
PS3 you did not.
And I wanted to bring that up, actually,
And-
and you just brought it up.
Yeah, I did, 'cause that's exactly what I thought.
All PlayStation guys were just like, that's absurd. Because we all got it for free. When I say we, I mean like PlayStation and Mediocre Dude and me and like all of us.
All these owners that have PS.
It was free, so it
Yeah.
was absurd to think $10. You guys are getting the shaft.
Yeah, and your argument was always was Xbox. They're just out to get money. They're all about the money, so they're out to get you like that way.
Well, they are Microsoft.
Yeah, well, and you had a good argument because at the time PS3, you didn't have to pay for crap. You had internet. You didn't have to worry about it. You
Right,
could play
that's
online,
and that was great. And that was one of the upsells for that console.
and that was huge. And that was a good argument. And then I I think the first game I bought for PS3 was Red Dead Redemption.
Which I haven't played, but I've seen some footage on YouTube. Super Beer Bros play. Shout out Super Beer Bros. They're like 150,000 subscribers.
Yeah, they're not gonna watch this.
But, I love your channel, guys. It's great.
But
they're playing Red Dead Redemption, and I watched.
That's a great game.
I love that game. Just watching them play it, and I heard
It's
the second
fun.
one's coming out.
It's long.
Is it?
Yeah, it comes out next year.
Is it going to be multi-console, multi-platform?
I do not know, but I know that one, Mass Effect, and Resident Evil are the three I'm looking forward to the most. Oh, and Dead Island.
Right.
I
think those are all
I'm paying for Dead Island 2 before it even comes out. It's happening. It's going down for real. I am obsessed with Dead Island. You guys will all find out more on that. We played a little bit on the PS3 run. I just bought the PS4, Dead Island Definitive Edition.
That's right.
Yes, and I've been playing it lately, and it's intense. I'm starting to get deja vu all over again. It's fun. But, so basically, in the long run of this whole spiel of me going on and on forever and cutting these two guys out, is the fact of when I first got Xbox, I thought it was a lot better of a system than PS. Now, the only reason I would want to play Xbox One and actually own a system is because of Gears of War. 4 came out. When Gears of War system was done is when I started going away from Xbox 360. Because that was and I told Sjotyme this, that's the only thing that's keeping me around on Xbox was the Gears of War series.
Yeah, you love that series.
I am obsessed with it. I will play those games again if I have to. I flat up on another not a PS3, another Xbox 360 because I got the Ring of Death. Let me tell you, that sucks.
Right.
And
which is
my brother went through a handful.
Yeah,
which is inevitable.
That's also another downfall about the system console thing. Is Xbox 360, the Xbox system, their consoles seem to die down faster than PlayStation's, from what I've noticed.
And I think that the Xbox had a strong lead against the PS3, but man, to be real, the PlayStation 3 had a strong finish.
Yeah, it did come out ahead.
It did.
Crap. Did it have? I think PlayStation 3 won the second half of the fight.
They definitely closed it out well.
Yes, and then Xbox definitely came out swinging and just kicked ass for sure.
Yeah, no, it was a battle of two tails.
Yeah.
And I think in the end, what killed a lot of Xbox was their system itself. It kept dying.
Yes, like
the Ring of Death.
The Ring of Death.
I couldn't tell you how many times I've actually read stuff about people that they had the Xbox for 2 or 3 times, and each time it crapped out fast. And they said, "Screw it, I'm done with this company. I'm done with it."
But they were pretty good about their warranty and getting you new ones when it did happen.
But I'm telling you right now, that crap
heard.
didn't give you much because it would go back to Ring of Death in a couple months. I had that. We had that on our last Xbox 360.
So Seando, you're an actual you experienced that shit.
I have experienced the Ring of Death, and I experienced them quote unquote replacing it and giving us the Ring of Death again.
Whenever I go to like a retro game store, I see Xbox 360s used, and I always just like, why?
Yeah,
that thing's probably gonna crap out in 2 days. Like, why?
you'll get a steady month of it, and then all of a sudden it's done.
And all of a sudden be done.
Yeah, screw that.
Just like, so that's probably one reason I think I've never been an Xbox guy. Because I gave the original Xbox a chance because my brother got it and I was playing Halo. I thought that was great. But then, like, with Xbox 360 and stuff, I've been playing PlayStation for forever, right? So, like, since the original PlayStation. So I was just like, well, I'll just stick with PlayStation over the Xbox. I liked the original Xbox, and then when the 360 came out, I hear all the stories about the Ring of Death and everything. I was like, I'm never going to get that system. And the only thing that would really get me over to that system is their exclusives. I'm trying to think if there was any that Halo is it, I think. Like, that was the only, because that was the system seller for Xbox.
Right. And I'm not sure if I could ever forgive Microsoft for acquiring Rare.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
I don't think that any good games came out of that.
Leave in the comments below, everybody, if you agree with that. Because, man, I think everybody...
Rare was just like such a gold mine through Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And then it really fell from grace.
Xbox crapped out a shitty product. That's what happened.
You know what's actually funny is I actually thought about it right now. Because you guys said you guys got to try Xbox through your brothers. Well, my brother got PS3. And if he never would have bought PS3, I don't think I would actually be a PlayStation player.
That's interesting. Is there like always like an eternal console war amongst siblings?
It is.
Yeah.
Because if one gets one, the other one, someone's going to eventually, especially if you're gamers and you like video games, you're going to want to own the other thing. Actually, the funny thing is, my brother just bought Xbox One for Gears of War 4.
There you go.
He said he played about 20 minutes of it, died so many times that he can't play it anymore, and he wants to watch me play it. because he sucks so bad at it. And I go, perfect. I'm like, we can play co-op. No, I'm terrible. I'm like, that's fine. I played with my dad one time. Okay, my dad flat out ran into the middle of battle, died in the first 2 minutes of Gears of War 1, then ran into a wall and goes, I don't know how to turn. I go, oh my goodness. I'm like, Dad, you're terrible at this game. So if I could play with that, I could play with my brother, but he already chickened out. He's done. He's called it quits. I have 1, 2, and 3. I let him borrow it right now, and he's like, no, I stink at this game. I'm done.
I played Gears with my brother a little bit too, and I'm not very good. I seem to have problems with like a context sensitive button. Mm-hmm. It just always fucks with me. It's the do everything button. It never does what you want it to do.
Yeah.
As I just have never gotten used to that in any game. So I'm not very good at it, but God, I respect how well designed the levels are in that game. And I haven't played the multiplayer as much, but my brother says it's just like super well done, well balanced.
Like I said, I've never been a multiplayer fan. I've watched other people play it. I played a little bit of it. I get bored. But
I heard that. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No. It's all right. I'll just finish this short. Gears of War 4. I mean, the graphics itself and the storyline is just insane. I mean, you play that game and you just feel like you're a part of this team. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, a good game brings out.
And if we're going to talk about exclusives that sell systems, in that, I know Last of Us really sold some PS3s.
I'm sure.
That's right, yeah.
Demon's Souls was originally a PlayStation exclusive, and then they changed it to Dark Souls so that way they can make a multi-console.
Which, aka make more money.
Right. So,
but it's a genius move.
It's a genius move, so yeah, they do it all the time. Like, I guess, like, you gotta think it from the developer's perspective of, like, what's the most profitable thing. For the most part, if you're going to be making, like, something exclusive, that console has to, like, pay them up the ass to cover their costs of the revenue gained from multi-platform.
A lot of times those developers are owned by the console manufacturer company, the parent company. Like Naughty Dog is owned by Sony, for example.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But like if you're asking like a company just to go completely exclusive that's not owned by them, you better believe
right.
that.
And that I guess you had that with Rise of the Tomb Raider, where it was a 1-year exclusive.
Yeah, and for Tiny's exclusives, yeah, screw that stuff. I think that's dumb.
I just, from our side and from their side, I always think it would be smarter to do both. A, they're going to make more money for it. B, we get to play the system that we actually want to play.
You make everything multi-platform?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
But I understand why they won't do it because, like...
The only way they won't do it is because, like, let's say Microsoft wants this to not be multi-platform. They'd have to pay them all the money, like I was saying before, like all that money that they would sacrifice making it multi-platform. Because you're right. You'd make more money multi-platform.
Now, is God of War for both?
No.
Is it just PS?
Oh yeah, God of War is a PlayStation only.
Right.
Okay.
And that's what
I thought.
That's also a first-party developer.
Because that was a huge series. Like, I mean, I played all 3 of them, and that thing was intense.
I think that also got you into PlayStation more too.
Let's start on PS2 though.
PS. Well, no. PS. Well,
oh yeah, you're right. It did.
I actually enjoyed. I had PS2 and I had Xbox, and Xbox. I liked multiplayer. Xbox was perfect for multiplayer games.
Yeah,
it was everyone come over, let's play goof around games, and PS2 was kind of like by myself.
The funny thing is that even though like Xbox 360 had the $10 or whatever it was, the live fee, that was the more popular.
It was like $50 a year.
That was the more popular multiplayer platform because people would argue an Xbox.
But it really snowballs
since you
too.
paid it,
when your friends are on a platform, you got to go to that platform to play with them.
But the point I'm trying to
that's the big thing.
But the point that I want to make is I remember playing Call of Duty in college. I was on PlayStation and I would talk to other people on Xbox, and the argument was Xbox was better to play on that platform.
Because you said online.
Because with PlayStation 3, since it was free, you would have just random kids on talking stupid stuff and just people that didn't care. But if you were on Xbox, they would argue the experience was better because you had to pay to play, so people would be more serious.
That's the argument that Something Awful forums do. When you register for an account on Something Awful, you got to pay $10. So you wouldn't want to get banned. So you wouldn't do anything stupid because you'd have to pay $10 again to come back.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the same argument that Xbox Live... That those people would make for Xbox Live. I don't think it worked for Xbox Live at all. I've seen the children on Xbox Live as well.
Okay, sorry, I haven't. but I never really experienced multiplayer in Xbox. But I would have to give it to the even though like I prefer to not pay for my online experience.
Well, now Xbox
I still
4,
think Xbox
4. PS4, you do.
Xbox still won the multiplayer category. I think.
Yeah.
It was definitely the stronger multiplayer console for sure. People, I mean, not only because of like, you got to pay to play, but they had certain like group setting stuff that you can do.
Yeah, they had a lot of features that PlayStation didn't.
PlayStation didn't have. So Xbox easily takes the cake with the multiplayer category.
But in the end, a true gamer, if he gets stuck with a certain kind of system, whether it's the bigger controller, small controller, certain kind of style of games compared to other kind of games, you can adapt. And you can adapt pretty easily.
You can adapt,
because what I did when I went from Xbox 360 to PS3, that controller was so weird. It wasn't even funny. And like you guys, like you flat out both said, like Xbox 360, it's too big of a controller kind of thing. And I was thinking in my head, well, PS3 was too small of a controller because it's wider in the Xbox 360, and you get used to it. So like I could play like in my sleep Xbox 360 because it was so easy to get the fingers. And everyone's like, well, it's hard to move your hands sometimes in certain spots. And I'm like, no, that's easy. Whereas I was going like, I felt like I had gigantic hands.
Let's think of
on the PS3.
Let's think of the Xbox original controller.
Oh man, that thing's
gigantor. That's the one I played Halo on, and then I saw that they changed it up on or they actually made like a smaller version of that near the end of the console's life, and then obviously Xbox 360 just decided to go with that thing. So Xbox really saved themselves in the 360 with the controller.
Yeah, because the old one was extra wide.
Yeah,
but I won't lie. I didn't mind it. I seriously did not mind it. And I hated the PS2 cord.
The PS2 cord?
Yes. That cord pissed me off.
Why?
Because it was always around where the controller was with the cord. It would always somehow get in my way in some way and piss me off.
Alright. Fair enough.
I never liked it. The Xbox 360 was always... Maybe it's because it was a big controller, so I never had to deal with my hand ever getting close to it. But like... Oh, he's grabbing an Xbox 360.
I actually have an Xbox 360 controller right here without having to get up. I use it for my PC. So.
It's actually nice because I played a game on there with it. I actually like it.
It's got the cord too.
And I don't mind
the
this.
Cord one.
Even though their joysticks are in different locations, like their left side joysticks is above the dialogue, and I don't know. I don't think this is that bad.
It's a good controller. The Xbox 360 controller is a good controller.
The thing that took me a while to get used to, at least the PS4, was that like rectangle box. I was like, what the heck is this crap? Like it just kept... I didn't understand it.
Yeah. I think between PS3 and Xbox 360, I think Xbox has a better controller. I never really played enough of Xbox One though.
I've never played Xbox One, so I don't...
Yeah.
I can't really compare.
Because you jump ship to PlayStation, which was the right thing to do.
Wow.
Well,
no,
this
but like I said,
PlayStation came out swinging.
I was pissed because then all of a sudden I got told that Gears of War 4 was coming out, and I was like, mother... Boop. And I was like... I was pissed because I was like, the one game. The reason I stopped, and I said, you know what? Xbox really has nothing else I really care for except... Oh, I actually liked Left 4 Dead. I lied. That one I actually did enjoy playing. But it was like... I owned Left 4 Dead. Dead Rising, I think, was an Xbox exclusive at first, and then they went over to PS4 with it. Or PS3, I think.
You don't have to worry about Left 4 Dead being on Xbox One. Valve can't count to 3 anyway.
That's what I hear with Half-Life and stuff. Yeah.
Well, the second one wasn't as good as the first one. The second one, I think they tried too hard. That was the downfall. But the first one...
But it included everything from the first one anyway.
Yes, it did, and they added more enemies. But the second one, I think they tried too much. Where the first one, I mean, it was just intense. Non-stop swarms of zombies coming at you. You got witches crying, and you're like, what? Stop crying! Because I know what that means. Instant death.
It's not good.
You piss her off, you're dead.
I actually remember watching you play Dead Rising. Or it wasn't...
no, not Dead Rising.
Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead. Yeah, I remember watching you play Left 4 Dead a lot, and... That was an Xbox exclusive, and I wish that was on PlayStation.
It was you know.
It was like, well, it's because this is new. It's like,
and the worst part is,
multiplayer zombies. That's like,
well, it's on PC.
It was like a new thing.
Play it that way.
I didn't have PC though.
You do now.
I got PC just like a year ago. Like
but
a year and a half
actually,
ago.
just talking about these old Xbox games makes me want to play 360 again. I won't lie. Like I want to. I want to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, you're
and go back to my gear. Deep down inside, I'm still a huge Xbox fan. I like Xbox, but I don't want to spend an extra $300 to $400 just to get a new system. Then on top of that, throw some $50 to $60 on every game. Right, right now, the only game I would want on Xbox One is Gears of War 4, and my brother bought it, so I could actually get my fix in and play that game when I go to visit my parents' house and he's there. I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm gonna play the game. Boom.
Yeah.
Now everything on Xbox One's settled.
So there's really no reason.
I think the entire concept of console wars derives from children who don't have the budget to buy more than one system.
Yes.
But as you grow up, you get to the point where if you really wanted to, you could just get all of them, and it would be fine.
Yeah, like
even if it's more like you get one at launch, then wait a few years to get another one.
Yeah.
It will become reasonable at some point.
Well, actually, isn't Dead Rising 4 is only for Xbox, isn't it? One.
I think it's a timed exclusive, from what I gather. I've heard people say that it's a timed exclusive.
I don't know, but
I don't know 100% though.
Now that's another one that I would totally want to own because I loved the Dead Rising series. I beat the first one and the second one, and then I didn't play the third one, but I've been watching.
I heard the third one sucked.
Third one wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like what 1 and 2 were.
I have 2 on
4. I've actually been watching Cyber Houdini play on Dead Rising 4, and I've been enjoying that one. That one actually, it looks like they went back to their Square One roots and actually brought some humor with it.
Right. I mean, all in all, PlayStation has always been the superior hardware. It doesn't break down as much. Obviously, there's times where it would happen, and they call it like the yellow light of death, as opposed to the red ring of death. My PlayStation never had it. I have a PlayStation 3 sitting right here. The worst thing I had to do with it was the fan was super loud, so I just opened it up and cleaned it out, and it's been fine since, and it's still working just fine.
I haven't had much problem with that either.
So, for the category of hardware and power and reliability, PlayStation easily wins. It's just more so a battle of communities, which is kind of just like really what it was with like Nintendo and Sega. Sega was the more quote-unquote
well, I wouldn't say Nintendo and Sega. I would say Super Nintendo and Sega.
I'm just saying Nintendo and Sega in general.
Yeah, but if you go Nintendo, then you're automatically saying the NES. At the time, it was Sega versus Super Nintendo, and then everyone was trying to do an extra like Sega CD. They were trying to throw extra crap out there.
I'm just saying Nintendo and Sega in the context of attitude. It doesn't matter what system.
See, in my head, I automatically went straight to NES.
Because Sega has always been like the system with attitude, like for the more mature gamer, they had like games with like blood in it, just more mature content. Where Nintendo was more considered the kiddie system, which it still kind of is to this day, but
for the most part, yeah.
And you can think of that as Super Nintendo versus Genesis. It's the same.
Well, I thought more of Nintendo went the route of arcadey. They threw more arcade style. I'm not saying like Mortal Kombat and stuff, but I'm going like when you watch those like Contra and stuff, like it was just arcade style. That way,
Sega had a lot of that stuff too.
Well, I know they did, but Sega, you were going at more gore, blood. They were going everywhere. Well,
that was my point. It was the more mature system.
The Super Nintendo went for the straight shooter. They just went straight kind of arcade style. Like they didn't like try to explore.
I know what you mean by that. I know what you mean. But you're right.
That's right. I love those words. You're right.
Good job, Sean.
Thank you. Thank you.
But your choice of words could be different.
Well, they could be, but unfortunately, they're not.
But I know what you mean.
Unfortunately, they're not, and I was right.
Because you're thinking, because the arcades are just more so like, you shoot an enemy, they flash like white and stuff, or like whatever. Like there's no gore or anything. It's just like plain and simple.
Or my favorite is when you hit them and they die, they fall backwards and they just go out of the screen. Like what?
They just flash a little bit. Yeah,
they're gone. Or they fall completely straight down out of the screen.
So, yeah, I mean that's really like I know that the current generation of PlayStation 4 to Xbox One has just been like an interesting one. Like PS4 came out swinging this time around, but then like Xbox
they both came
out with the S.
I'm gonna say both are doing pretty well. It seems every time I go into stores, it seems like a lot of people are asking about both systems. It seems like now they kind of understand that they're not fighting as hard anymore because they know they got who they want, and they both are doing pretty well from what I've seen.
They're doing both pretty well now, but Xbox struggled at the beginning because they came out with the Kinect, bundled in with the system for $500. Or
that E3 2014 was a killer.
Yeah, that really killed Xbox because they were selling the console more so as like as a multimedia console. And where PlayStation sold it as just like a gaming console, but Xbox was like, no, you can do so many other things, and they kind of put gaming in the background.
I think,
which really upset a lot of people.
I think Xbox was too advanced for what people wanted. They in their head they went from 0 to 60 when they should have taken their time a little bit more and kind of progress slowly and not kind of throw people like because I think they meant well and they would try to get all the their advanced stuff, but they would also ask for a lot of money for it because
that was the problem.
And see, that's where 0 to 60 goes in.
Well, PlayStation 4 came out, I think, with a price tag of $400, and Xbox One came out with a price tag of $500 because the Kinect that was forcefully sold with it was $100. And nobody, and then also combined with MD brought up was the E3 thing, which I did watch that. Yeah, that killed them too by like being multimedia and not focusing on gaming so much.
They did struggle for a while.
It was a no-brainer. So that's when
one of the big issues.
That's when a lot of Xbox people jumped ship and came to PlayStation.
One of the big issues was the always online. How do you feel about that?
That was another huge issue. Yep, I remember that.
I think it was overblown myself. But how do you guys feel about it?
When I saw that E3 of Xbox One, I was like, good thing I'm a PlayStation guy. 'Cause fuck this console.
But like, when aren't you online, honestly?
No, but okay. So you're trying to do it. Are you playing devil's advocate, or are you doing it, or you really feel that way?
I thought it was overblown a little bit. Yeah.
To answer your question, what if it's like there's a snowstorm and your internet goes out? You can't play a game. It's dumb. You have to always be online to play a game. Well, what if you don't have internet for some odd reason?
I think in like the international market, that's a big problem. Like not everybody has as stable connections as we do.
Right,
but for the average like American consumer, I don't think it's as huge of an issue as to completely sync the console in the way that it does.
I think it was Seando that said it earlier that they jumped the gun. They were going too far, too fast.
0 to 60, and that was a killer, and I think that's just a Microsoft problem in general. I think they've always been like that, even with their computers and stuff.
They just want everything.
They always try to... They're smart, but they don't get that we're not all going to go from 0 to 60 with them.
But they're also competing with Apple, too, which is also another thing. Like, so maybe that's...
It's a competing world. It's like this in games, sports, businesses. It's just... Anything you look at, everyone's competing with each other, and then there's always one idiot that does something stupid. And there's always something that will bite them in the butt. And that situation, that bit Xbox in the butt, and they hurt for a while. Now they're back up.
They've had time to recover.
But, I mean, that took a big setback. Because how many years?
Because it
started with Xbox 360.
It was a huge setback.
And then after that, because it was the Ring of Death is what started it.
The Ring of Death, yeah.
Ring of Death was the big starter of collapsing of Xbox. Because it kept happening. And then that led with Xbox One. They got desperate, so they did what the Resident Evil companies have been doing with them, is they're trying to go from 0 to 60 and trying to go above and beyond. We should actually bring up that.
Are you saying that Resident Evil, how they changed the game?
Well, okay, so we should talk about Resident Evil. Because a lot of people actually controversy with this whole Resident Evil series.
What exactly?
Because a lot of people hate the direction Resident Evil has gone.
Oh, of course. Which is why it's going back to its roots in a way.
Which is what 7, the demo looks sick. It looks awesome. They actually just updated the very last demo before the game's released, which I have not checked out yet.
I haven't checked it out either.
It actually looks pretty good.
I'm kind of not wanting to because that way I want to go through that
but Resident Evil seems to be, when they do a demo, it doesn't really spoil too much of the game itself.
Now the first demo at least is not even a part of the real game. So I don't know if the second demo is going to be like that.
Oh, it's not? That's been confirmed. See, I don't follow it. I've always been the type of person to not follow news of games because I'd rather just have them come out and be totally surprised.
Yeah.
So I don't follow a lot of news about specific details of movies or games.
It depends what game it is how much I actually want to read up on it. Like Dead Island, I've been reading up on it, and I'm pissed off that it randomly got delayed again. Dead Island 2. It was supposed to be released Christmas time this year, a.k.a., this month, but...
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, right now, at the time of this recording, it's only a couple days before Christmas.
Yeah, and it's snowing outside, so AK. It's, as the song goes, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. No, so anyways, but back to the Resident Evil. What do you guys think? Because I thought Resident Evil 4 was great. I loved the switch that they did. It was actually just different because it wasn't zombies. It was different. But they basically were zombies in a different way. And then 5, I felt like they tried so hard to do co-op.
Right.
That it botched.
You know, we might as well just make this a two-topic podcast, because I can go on about this too. So yeah, I mean, like Resident Evil 4 came out strong, at changing the direction of the series, and really enjoyed it. It's actually like a fan favorite. It's like a lot of people consider it a masterpiece because they stuck to the roots. Mm-hmm. You know, they stuck to the roots, even though they added there were no more zombies and all that kind of stuff. It was
still dark.
It was like Granados, they called it. It was still dark. It still had a horror sense. Yeah,
yes.
That's really splitting hairs anyway.
The whole castle was really cool. Like in that
yes,
part. And it was creepy. Because like
yeah.
when you have like the guys like chanting and stuff, and it's just like, oh man, and it was your classic Resident Evil. But yeah, like and then Resident Evil 5.
You know what 4 kind of reminded me of?
Turn for the worst.
Veronica, a little bit. Instead of like normal zombies and stuff, but they had that sick and twisted story with it.
Which one?
Code Veronica.
Code Veronica was originally the third one of the series.
Oh wait, no, but I mean that twist.
But they changed it to
the story. I'm talking about the story itself, not the game itself. The story that is in the game. Veronica reminded me a lot of 4, Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
with the side story of it.
I could see that. Are you?
Have you ever played?
Mediocre Dude's not really familiar with Resident Evil.
I know 4.
Okay.
Okay, that was the first game I owned for GameCube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was fun to play. The puzzles were a pain in my dupa.
Yeah, it was a little late to Resident Evil 4, I think, because I don't think I caught it until it was on PlayStation.
Okay. See, me and Sjotyme have been geeks since the get-go.
I think we beat Resident Evil 5 co-op.
I still remember oh yeah, we did. That was awesome. I still remember the very first day when you got Resident Evil 1, and me and you geeked out all night playing that. Because I think you either got it for Christmas or you got it for your birthday. I forget which one it was. From your mom.
From Resident Evil 5?
No, 1.
Oh, 1. Oh, the first one I think I got it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm having these memories now.
Yeah, see, I'm here. This is what I'm here for.
I remember, like, opening up the wrapping paper and
seeing
Chris Redfield's warped and twisted face.
Yes. And how excited me and you were. And then we jumped at that scene that everyone jumps at the beginning. With the dogs jumping out of the window.
Yeah.
Always. But, no, I mean, we go way back from that.
Times, yeah.
And then I borrowed Resident Evil 2 from you, and I beat that game. And that was awesome. I never beat 3. I barely played it. I watched you beat it.
Yep, 3.
I was the first one to beat Code Veronica, which was a big milestone, because I beat Sjotyme in a Resident Evil game before he beat one. Because he didn't own it. Because he didn't own Dreamcast, and I did. I was pumped. I couldn't tell you how much. I was like, ooh, I beat the game. He goes, all right, when you're done, let me play it. It was good. He was angry because I beat him in a Resident Evil game before he did.
So, going back, it went from 4, which was like, okay, this is very similar, still scary, to 5 turning into more of a Call of Duty thing. Nobody likes Sheva because like her AI was terrible.
5 you have to play
it was
co-op.
horrible.
It's the only way it works. Playing a co-op. It's the
Yeah,
only way it works.
Because I played it solo and you did too. We both beat the game solo. And it's just, I couldn't tell you how many times I died because my computer AI just decided not to come and save me and decided to run another direction. And I was like, oh, thanks.
Can't you like fuck up your inventory too?
Yeah. Or heals you at the wrong times and you're like, why did you waste that? I just got hit once.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then next thing you know, you die. And you're like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
And then 6 comes out, and that basically the only thing that was good about that was the Leon campaign. Because they actually brought back zombies.
Well, actually, the funny thing is, we played the demo, and the demo really didn't do the game justice. The demo was terrible.
I don't really remember much of the demo.
I do, because you showed me it.
We literally waited for that game to
go on.
Because
remember, after like 2 or 3 weeks, it went from 60 to 20 at Best Buy.
Jeez.
And we went there, and we bought it, because you hit me up, and you go, dude, it's $20. Now it's the time to get it. So we both got it. We both beat the game, but we both beat each character differently. I think you beat Leon first, and I beat Ada Wong first.
I think we did it on purpose.
Yeah. And Ada Wong's story is actually pretty sweet. The game, if you play all 4 of them, it's actually a lot better then the demo actually gave it credit. The demo, me and Sjotyme looked at it and went, I don't even want this game. I'm not going to come close to paying more than 20. 25 was, I think, our limit.
Right, and I usually buy Resident Evil
right away.
On day one. And this was the one time that's ever happened where I didn't do that.
No, but then we played it. We both beat it.
I even fucking bought Operation Raccoon
That was
City
even worse.
at $60.
That was probably one of the worst games
shame
I've
on
ever
me.
seen.
Shame on me, Internet.
And those AIs are terrible, too. Those even worse than the Resident Evil 5 one.
Those are online players, not AIs.
So anyways, the point of this change in topic is just that we wanted to talk more about Resident Evil 7 and how what's led to that change going back to its roots.
Jace Cotter
just took a dive.
Jace Cotter actually had a huge thing about Resident Evil 7 and an argument, which that's what got me thinking about Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And he talked about how Resident Evil 7 is they're going back to the roots and everyone hates the direction they're going in. And it's just like, but they changed it on 4. It's not like this is new, that it's not zombie straight up. It's people that are messed up, whether they're parasites in them or just like the sick and twisted.
That
like
was a huge change.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre style.
And I didn't like it really at first. I like the traditional Resident Evils where it's really... Where it was
Dark
a
and
lab
twisted.
experiment occurred. Everybody got changed due to like people were being worked on in experiments. I like that. I think that's a way cooler storyline, like arc or line or whatever, than like the insect thing and everything like that. Although that's pretty cool itself. Resident Evil had a good thing going with the bio shit, and then they changed.
The insects lended themselves to some cool gameplay mechanics, though. Like the regenerators are so cool. Like where you need to like use like the thermo to like find the
dude.
weak
That
points.
was sweet.
That was so cool.
Let me get this straight. Let me make it clear. Resident Evil 4 was the ideal way to do an over-the-shoulder Resident Evil. They should have, even though they changed it from zombies to other things. I did like that thing that you told me, the regenerators.
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking sweet. When I first saw them, those are the guys that like shake and go eat, and like spikes come out of them and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really
Which
fucking
pissed me
weird.
off because I couldn't tell them.
Did they have some cool like
Those guys
fatalities?
when I first saw those guys, I almost shat my pants.
Oh yeah, they're crazy.
I was like, "What the fuck is this thing?"
Or the stupid chainsaw guys. It's just one touch that you're dead.
Yeah,
Instant
those-
death.
Those guys are awesome.
And they're running like this, like the Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm like, no!
Yeah.
Don't touch me!
So then Resident Evil 5 is just like Call of Duty. Resident Evil
It was
6
Call of
even
Duty.
more like Call of Duty. And now Resident Evil 7 is coming out first person, almost like PT style.
Yes, which I think they kind of did a little. Did you ever watch MD? Did you ever watch PT?
A little bit.
I remember the first time Sjotyme made me and his brother play the game, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta check this game out. It's creepy. It's really good. Blah 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 blah." So me and Sjotyme's brother, we like to make fun of Sjotyme, if no one knows, but this is what we do.
Yeah.
And since we make fun of him, he hyped up a game, so AKA you gotta hate the game. It's just how it goes. Even though PT was a phenomenal game, and I'm really upset that it didn't come out, we pretended like we hated the game. So he was getting pissed.
Yeah.
It took us like 30 minutes to beat the demo because for some reason the ending, we couldn't figure it out because it just wasn't working. And we had to look it up, and it's like, okay, well, we're doing that, but it's not working. So we, the whole time, just like, oh, this is stupid, look at this is repetitive, it's blah, 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 blah. And Showtime's just getting pissed. And I mean angry. Like, you could see steam coming out of his ears. It was anger. And then after it, me and his brother walk upstairs and go, he's like, that wasn't that bad of a game. I go, no, it's actually pretty cool. And then he's starting to like throw a fit about how this game's so good, we're stupid, blah, 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 blah. And then we look at him and go, hey, we do like the game. He goes, oh, well, then why would you do that?
So this is all true. I was pretty mad. I was like, why do you like? I was like, you guys seriously don't like this?
Yeah, we were really being hard on it.
But
It
I
was
mean,
kinda funny.
but that's the thing. That's why we're accepting and excited for Resident Evil 7 is because it's in that same style. And like,
It just that sense of I don't know what's gonna pop out at me is what Resident Evil was made for. They scared you. You jumped. You played a Resident Evil game. It was a guarantee you were probably gonna jump 4 to 5 times.
right? It wasn't about having a machine gun like and just
Start to
killing
kill
hordes
things.
of things with a machine gun.
Yeah.
with a team.
Yeah.
Like
a SWAT team.
With
What the heck?
with a squad or something.
Yeah.
right? It's not. But that's not Resident Evil. That's why Leon's campaign was the only acceptable campaign in Resident Evil 6, which was any good. Or stuck to Resident Evil.
Well, yeah, Ada Wong wasn't that bad. That had kind of they had like a Revelation style to it.
Which one?
Ada Wong's story.
for
6.
in 6. Oh yeah.
She had
That one was all right.
Well,
that would probably be the second best one.
that was the second best one.
Then
Actually,
there was like Jason or something like that.
I actually didn't mind that
or
story.
Jake, I think it was.
It was Jake and
Sherry Birkin.
oh god, Sherry's back, baby.
I'm pretty sure
Sherry baby.
Birkin.
I
liked it for the stories, right? Like, because I wanted,
that was a really good story.
The gameplay though is the thing that sucked. Okay, at the end of the day, it's like Resident Evil 6 is a good game,
It was a good game,
but it's not Resident Evil.
No, it's not.
That's the problem.
No.
All right, so the verdict is Resident Evil 6 is a good game, just not worth the full price tag of $60. It was good for the story, but it just didn't feel like a Resident Evil game. We're coming up almost to an hour with this podcast, and actually we have Quinn Bross here to record some Final Fantasy with us, so we're actually going to go ahead and move on to doing that.
So we're
going to wrap this podcast up.
Let's end it by thinking what do we think Resident Evil 7 is going to be like?
Resident Evil 7.
What do we think?
I'm thinking it's just going to be PT on steroids.
PT on steroids.
And that's all I got to say.
I think it could come to be as revolutionary as 4 was, where people are going to be skeptical at first, but they might really come around, and that might be the new standard for Resident Evil.
That's a good point, and you're right, because actually a lot, like Layers of Fear, for example, is a lot of the good modern horror games are first person.
Now,
and that's kind of the direction it's taken.
Is this what Resident Evil is trying to go for? Do you know that, or is it just?
I think that's what they're going. I think
because
I've heard a lot of people say that.
I've
heard a lot of people say. I'm not pissed, and I'm a fucking long-time Resident Evil fan. I'm actually really happy they're taking this direction. But I've heard a lot of people say that that basically what happened was PT went out the window, so Resident Evil saw the opportunity
and took advantage
to take its place.
Why not?
They just fucking did it.
Why not? Because I couldn't tell you how many times I saw people on sections of PT never coming out, how pissed off people were. And why not for a company that has been struggling as of late to find anything, and they go, oh, guess what? What can I do? We could do something like PT, but do it Resident Evil style.
Exactly.
And let's get real. That genre is huge right now. Horror movies, everyone always wants the blood and guts, but the thing that's really selling the most right now is stuff that messes with your head. So when you're watching a show or watching a movie, if the thought of going, oh crap, I think that thing moved. Did it move? I don't know. Did it move? It's like shit like that, mind fucking. That is basically what it is. Mind fucking is perfect for horror movies. It gets everyone freaked out. Resident Evil, that's what PT was. If you watch the whole demo, that thing, it messed with your head.
Yeah.
Because there's shit everywhere.
Psychological horror is huge.
And that is what's selling, and Resident Evil is going to be trying to take advantage of that, hopefully. Hopefully. I'm not them. But hopefully 7 is like that, where it messes with your head, whether the people are insane right in front of your face, like they show in the demo, or flat out like, shit, something's going to happen, but I don't know why. And my heart's like this the whole time, you know?
Absolutely.
So in the end, I hope Resident Evil 7 makes me shit my pants, and at the same time, love it. So if they could go like that, like Evil Within did that, if they could go in that atmosphere and just do it, it's going to be a great game.
And that's a good way to end it.
It is.
So we all three of us went through our expectations, and mindfuck, that's what we're looking for.
That's right, the mindfuck.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in to episode 4 of our podcast. It started off with a PlayStation 3 and Xbox, console war debate conversation, and then kind of turned into a second topic of the progression of Resident Evil to the new ones.
Yeah, I threw us a curveball.
Yeah, but it was fun. We're going to definitely continue on a future podcast talking about console wars, because there's still more to say with introducing more consoles. It's not just the PlayStation and Xbox. So until then, guys, I'm Sjotyme.
Mediocre Dude here. Get on your adult diapers and launch up some Resident Evil 7 next month.
And Seando's over here and says, "Motherfuckers!"
All right, guys, later.
See ya.